you go. So yeah, feel free to share any book recommendations. What are you currently reading, or any favorite books that you have, either on the chat or on the or meeting yourself. We would like to hear more about what you're currently reading, what kind of books you like. And like I said, this is in part because we are gonna be sharing an event, a book discussion, but more on that later. For now, just giving some time to other folks to join us and get started. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Sorry, I'm reading all the great recommendations. I'm definitely gonna have to save this chat thread. Um, well, thank you so much for entertaining my question. And all right, so let's do a quick agenda review. I will share that in the chat in case you don't have it. There it is. Um, so we're gonna be going over this agenda really quick. Any additions or things that you feel might be needed, please feel free to share that in the chat. And also, I would like to remind you all that we use the stack system as the participatory protocol. And this means that after each agenda item or speaker, I will be opening up the stack for questions or comments. And if you wish to participate, all you have to do is raise your Zoom hand, or you can write stack on the chat, and I'll keep a list of who wants to be on stack and then call on you. You can then unmute yourself. And there will also be a space dedicated for you all, affiliate leaders, to share any announcements or events that you and your group have been doing this month, or things that you're planning to do this upcoming month. And I would also like to thank Greg for taking notes tonight. I believe that's you on the notes. Yes, thank you, Greg. So yeah, and also everyone else that's gonna be playing a role in tonight's call. But now, without any further ado, I would like to open up the space for you all to share updates, accomplishments, projects that your affiliates are working on or have done this month. Feel free to either share, put stack on the chat, or just raise your hand. I see you. Go ahead, Edie. Oh, you're muted. There you go. Can you unmute? There you go.
Our affiliate is going to be working during the month of August to visit with our state representatives. We're from Miami County, and most of our members have two state representatives that we need to lobby, and we hope to have meetings with them in August. Our leader, Deb Hogshead, who you all know, is doing quite a bit of going out, getting people aware of our Vote No initiative here in Ohio. Very important, serious issue, and all of us in Move to Amend are trying to encourage people to vote no on that issue. It's an issue that will limit how citizens can take democratic action in getting citizen initiatives on the Ohio Constitution.
Very critical issue.
That's all I can think of right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that. Yes, a very important issue. And anyone else would like to share any updates? I see a new message. Oh, yes, Margaret.
Well, thanks to that list that you made for us, Alfonso, of the aides in the congressional offices of co-sponsors that had not signed up again in the 118th Congress. So I had an email exchange, I think it was last week, with Representative Carbajal in California, with his aide, the one who you listed. And it all got done in one day. And he said that the representative was going to re-up. And then I let him know that it wasn't listed on or had re-upped. And I let him know it wasn't listed on congress.gov. And he said he'd look into it. And by the end of the next day, there it was. So that was very helpful, knowing the right person. And also it should be the person in DC. I think that's probably true.
Yes, I'm glad
Yes.
that was helpful to you, Margaret. And I will try to get the list right now and share it in the chat, Don. I see Karen is also on stack. You wanna unmute yourself?
Oh, okay, I'm already unmuted. Well, last week I got brave and I attended an Alliance for Democracy meeting in Portland, in an area where I never go since I don't live there. And I'm happy to say that there were some younger people there. And I know for our meeting tomorrow night that there's going to be a number of other people, new younger people, which I'm really thrilled about. Our public banking study, everything has gone through the legislature and it is awaiting our governor's signature. Let's see. We did talk about street fairs, but the person that was really enthusiastic just assumed someone else would do all of the work, and some of us are getting older, so I'm thrilled to see the young people. David did ask Norman Solomon if he would come to Portland and do a presentation on his new book, How America Hides the Human Toll of Its Military Machine, War Made Invisible. And I guess he is really not traveling that much anymore, but he gave David really a super deal on the books. So that will be on our list. In addition, I guess in a book study group that we're putting together, Poverty Made in America will be the book that we're working on. I have contacted my legislatures, and I went to a Merkley town hall on Saturday, but I wasn't called on. And I do realize I need to get some more handouts for when we're out like that and when people ask questions. So tomorrow night is our regular monthly meeting, and I'm looking forward to, should be 6 new young people. So that's sort of it.
Well, that's a lot. Thank you so much for that complete report and for everything you've been working on. It's certainly invigorating to see younger generations get active. That's wonderful to hear. Anyone else would like to share? Oh, great. I'm glad that you can access that list, Don. Yeah, so that list was a recapitulation of cards that I got after my visit in DC last June. So yes, those are all the staff members I got to speak with. So I believe most of these are like already on board, but some of them are still there. If you want to reach out, please feel free. The ones that are highlighted are the ones that have a co-sponsor. The rest are fair game. If you wanna, if one of those is your rep, by all means, feel free to email them. That's their direct staff email. So okay, there will be more time later on to share accomplishments, but seeing no one else's hand up, I would like to now pass it over to Janie for some announcements.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here with y'all and happy to see all of your faces. I have a couple of quick announcements. We have a new fundraising director, Katie Krasinski. We're going to give her time to introduce herself in just a second. I'm super excited to have her on the team. We also have a new intern, Liam Keene. He came from Ben Mansky's program, as well as referred to as through Ben Mansky. Super sharp. They are really hitting the ground running in Virginia, and they've really I'm sure they'll be on the next meeting, but we're really looking forward to working with them as well. And then Cole Bennett is doing a fellowship with Move to Amend. This fellowship will run through the end of the year. He's based out of Atlanta, and he's a third-year law student. He actually went to law school because of his passion for the We the People Amendment, and after Citizens United, after learning about Citizens United, and just being mind blown that this current insane doctrine is what we are living under. So really excited to have him on board as well. They had a wonderful 20th century conference in Minneapolis, and I'd like to kind of pass that over to Dolores. They were present for the event, and it sounds like it was really powerful. So Dolores, you want to share your experience?
Yeah, hey everyone. So it was me, Daniel Lee, and Barbara Gurdon who went. We did a pre-conference presentation doing the timeline activity. I'm sure most of y'all have seen that or done that, which was really powerful. We had a lot of engagement. And I felt like after seeing a lot of the other panels and a lot of the other discussions, I felt like ours was not to, to my own horn, but I felt like our presentation was one of the most engaging ones. So we had a lot of people who were really enjoying it and had a lot of reactions to it, which is really great. And so we did a pre-conference. This was last week, 2 weeks ago at this point. And it went out through the weekend, and it was a pro-democracy conference that had a lot of movement leaders, had people that were in politics, a lot of different organizations. So it's a great experience, and I would definitely recommend next year that we go. And yeah, overall, it was really good. The only thing is that it was a larger conference. It was about, I think, like 700 people were signed up to go. And I would say the largest rooms at times had maybe like 400, 500 people. And afterwards, there were some positive COVID cases. So just something to think about also. And it was a fully masked event. And yet there's still about 10 people who got COVID. So something to consider, but overall, it was a great experience. I think us being there was really valuable to the variety of presenters. And yeah, pass.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Dolores. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts about that? Anything they want? Okay. Moving on with the announcements, Movement Education Program. There, of course, if you've been through the program, if you can please fill out the short form that's listed in the agenda and tell us about your experience. We do have another session in the works being worked on and researched and created right now. Excited to do that and hoping to kind of pick that back up. Our dedication to political and movement education and history is very, very important. And that analysis that we get from it and the connections that we build through working through this together are really important. So looking forward to that. Also, I want to remind everybody, we do have the Ecology Network. It's a space created where people on the ground working on environmental issues across the country come together, share what they're doing, sharing ideas, strategies, different things that they're involved in. And, you know, of course, because we hold that piece of puzzle that is, you know, what we believe gets to the root of that problem, it's a really important space that we're able to offer and have at our disposal. And the people that are coming and sharing and the things that are going on the ground are just amazing. So I'm always really inspired after that call. Also, just a reminder, we have that second Zoom line. So if you have things that meetings or calls that you need to make to connect with other leaders or in your affiliates, please let us know and we can get you a space time on, you know, something, you know, they have the free ones, but those are limited on time. So if you know that you may go over a little longer, or in your when you're reaching out to Congress members and are setting up your meetings, if you need a Zoom line, please let us know. That is available for all affiliates uses. And also, please remember to submit your monthly reports. Those activity reports, you know, just short bullet points, of course, are fine. Those are things that help us know what's going on the ground in your communities, and also so that we can share in our fundraising if needed as well. So it has a lot of different reasons and a lot of different benefits. And that way, you know, if things are needed, we can know because we have the monthly reports and know what you're working on. So please remember to do those. And that's all for announcements, unless anybody has any questions or anything they want to add. All right, well, I'm going to pass it over to Joel for the wonderful campaign updates we have on the We the People Amendment.
Hey again, everyone. So right now we have 58 co-sponsors, which is wonderful. Thank you all for your efforts. We do have a new Dear Colleague letter as well, because as you all know, our old aide, Elise Phillips, had left Jayapal's office, and now we have a new legislative aide, Elizar Chakra. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but he's been really quick to respond. So send all new co-sponsors over to him. I should also write his email down here so you all have. Okay, now that's right there in the notes. Okay, and then another announcement for our campaign is that we have a lobby training for the August recess this Thursday. It's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, and it's going to be about an hour long. We're looking for any of you all who want to be part of it. If you have experience with lobbying or have organized in district meetings with the congressional representatives, to join us just kind of as part of the panel, just so we can have someone who has a little more experience kind of answer. We'll have like a little back and forth of just like, does this seem accurate to what you experienced? And you'll be like, yes or no. So it should be really simple. It's just a PowerPoint presentation. And I was wondering, yeah, if anyone would be interested in doing that. Margaret, was that a question? Are you interested? Awesome. Oh, you muted.
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
You know, we had a different experience. We didn't, we lobbied our representative, but we never had a meeting with him. We bombarded him in other ways. And he signed on.
That's fine.
Also, just a detail, I know that someone from Santa Clara affiliate had a email exchange with someone in Leon Panetta's office. And that the person in Panetta's office said he was gonna co-sponsor again, but he's still not listed. So he needs a little pestering.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I am pro pestering, so I think that if you don't need to have a meeting, I don't particularly love having a bunch of meetings, so get them to sign on. But yeah, it'd be great to have you on there. And again, it'll just be like a little back and forth of like, this is what lobbying is. Margaret, do you like lobbying? No, so it'll be really,
I like the results.
yeah. Exactly. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I'll send you an email with just the PowerPoint and kind of like prompts that we might do back and forth, but it'll be pretty on the spot, at least for me. Awesome. Appreciate it a lot. And I'll pass it. That's it for campaign updates. Does anyone have any questions?
Greg Stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple things. Margaret, you will be joining Deb Hogshead from the Troy affiliate, who previously said that she was willing to be part of this program on Thursday. So any of you who have any plans or just considering, you haven't even made a definitive decision, but considering, please do consider signing up for the program on the 20th. And in terms of, lobbying, I actually think it is more work, no doubt about it. But, our goal is to develop a movement, and movement takes people, and people who are willing, able, and capable, meaning people who know, people who are trained, people who have experience in lobbying and in reaching out to others. And so, getting co-sponsors is both a means and an end. An end in, we're trying to get the co-sponsor, but the means is it's an excuse to get people on the other side of the learning curve, to get them by looking at the materials and having people who maybe, haven't been active for a while, if ever, reaching out to people in that congressional district who's willing to meet with the aide, do a little training beforehand meeting, getting them to then give their testimony, and then hopefully they, or feel a success. If they don't, then guess what? They learn the realities firsthand of how difficult it is to lobby. And that's important as well in terms of understanding how the whole system, if we had $10,000 and we gave it to people, they would respond instantly, wouldn't they, in co-sponsoring something. So it is both the lobbying, both a means and an end. And I really do think that it is worth the extra time and effort to try to drum up some people and to get them to do a virtual meeting, and to use not just the people that you lobby, but then use as an excuse everybody in the congressional district. After you have the meeting, use then that list to reach out to them and say, hey, we just had a meeting a week ago, or 3 weeks ago we had a meeting and they still haven't responded. Please call. And so, if and or when they do come on, you can then send, as try to, then something saying, thank you, your call, your email made a difference. And to use that then as hopefully a stepping stone to get people to become even more politically active.
Thank you for that, Greg. Very true. I see Margaret, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
So on lobbying, so I used to live in Mendocino County in Northern California, and our representative Jarrett Huffman was the third co-sponsor. So he was the first co-sponsor that wasn't one of the bills that didn't introduce the resolution. He'd been consistently a co-sponsor every time. And we did really work on him. And we were so amazed that we actually did it. All we had to do was bug him and get people organized, and it worked. And I think for a lot of us, that was the first experience we had of being, effective politically. The other thing I want to say is our state senator from that area, who is now the majority leader in the California State Senate, is a real ambitious guy. And it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up in the House at some point. And he knows my face, because we've met with him and talked with him about move to amend. And it's easier to get people at lower levels. So I think lobbying at any level is really helpful experience, and does all the things that Greg said. Pass.
Absolutely. Yes. Getting to know those candidates like commissioners and all that is pays off at the end when they run for a higher office. I also have Janie on stack. Go ahead, Janie.
Yeah, and part of the thinking behind having like you, Margaret, and Deb is, like you said, you didn't have any experience, you're just concerned citizens doing your job. And we're hoping that will give people the courage, that it's not just, hey, this is staff person on this team. No, these are volunteers. They're out there doing the hard work and making a difference, pushing their representative to support policies that are important to you. So that's really good. And the pledge campaign is also a great way. It's up and running. So always when you're talking to anybody, I went to an event this weekend and there was a candidate there, and it's like, okay, here you go. I only support candidates that support the We the People Amendment, and they said they're going to sign the pledge. So it's that easy. It can be that easy.
Yep, exactly. All it takes is just to get out there and interfaces pretty much. But thank you for all those additions. Anyone else wants to be on stack? Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for that report, Adol. And Craig will now be sharing some actions, including some non-We the People Amendment actions for this summer.
Well, what we just spoke about and what now I want to talk about shares one common theme. And that theme is summarized in one single word: power. Right? Ultimately, we need, as a organization, by ourselves and obviously with others, to build power. Power comes from either organized money or organized people. I mean, other things, but you can kind of boil it down that way. And if we're ever going to be, as successful as we want to be, we've got to, bring in a lot more people and get people on the other side of the learning curve and feeling confident and trained. And it all comes down to things like lobbying and these things that are listed under this item of the kinds of things that can be done when the weather is decent. Hopefully not, hopefully it's at least under 110 degrees wherever you are, because it's pretty rough out there these days. But nevertheless, it is an opportunity when the weather is halfway livable to do these kinds of things, from petitioning to trying to reach out to organizations asking for resolutions or endorsements. Resolutions, of course, it's kind of somewhat challenging in the summer when city councils don't meet or state legislatures are not in full session or partial session, as well as the pledge to amend. Though there are candidates, particularly this being considered an off year, not so much federal, but state, as was previously mentioned by someone, Karen, I think, that all of these represent opportunities to reach out and to bring in more people. The petitioning has a couple of live links, as they all do. They take you to pages where there are resources, how-tos, helpful kits and instructions and directions on how to do any or all of it. And just to remind you, that petition kit, it's something that is on our website on the Take Action page. It shows you how, very simply, what it takes to go out and try to petition. We've got a couple more months. In fact, maybe September and October will be more doable, in fact, than the rest of July and August, given the kind of terrifying weather conditions we're experiencing. But nevertheless, please do consider trying to use what time we have to expand our numbers. And expanding our numbers are important for all the reasons that you've been reminded of, and that we all try to remind ourselves about each and every month, to bring more people in to volunteer, to lobby, to serve on committees, to do the work that you're doing in your respective places, to raise money, and to use either directly as a volunteer to lobby, but also indirectly, when we can take then the numbers of people in congressional district and reference those as we meet with aides to say there's X number of people, hundreds of people in your congressional district that are, for the most part, we can probably fairly say are voters who are willing to, and they'll be known if you support the amendment. You know, we can't endorse you, but we can let them know that you co-sponsor the We the People amendment. So having numbers serves all of those purposes. Having resolutions, having endorsements, garnering pledge to amend also increases our credibility, our legitimacy, our cultural capacity to spread the news and make people think that we're that much closer to bringing this about. We're certainly still very far away, but again, you know, as has been mentioned many times, change comes slowly until it comes all at once. And so each of these are stepping stones to that, whatever it comes, who knows when it is, it's outside our control. We can't control what things, how things happen, only what we do. And so, and hopefully what we do at some point will reach, based on internal and external conditions, if it's the right time, the right place, and the stars line up, there will be a tipping point. So we can only do what we can do. And each of these represent opportunities to reach out and bring other people in. So feel free to take advantage of any one or ones of them. And would be happy to answer any questions or help any of you do any of these in your respective places.
Thank you, Greg. I think we covered it all. And I just want to share in the chat, talking about the petition. I think last time we talked about this, creating a QR code or something that could enable people to go directly to the petition. Here is a QR code that you can use. It's an image, so you can save it and use it, print it, or you just have it on your phone and you can scan that with your camera and it would redirect people to the petition. I can also generate a QR code for any other link or thing that you link or document that you think might be helpful for your outreach, and I'll be happy to provide that for you. Either you can mention it now, or you also I will also share my email so you can reach me directly. Thank you again, Greg. And now we have a finance report from Katie. Katie, hi. I'll pass it over to you.
Well, hello. It's so nice to meet all of you and see some new faces. Just a little warning, the 3-year-old is being put to bed by great grandma and it doesn't sound like it's going well. So they're right above me. I have to say I've been really excited about this particular meeting. Just to thank you all for your dedication and your passion. I've been a big fan of Move to Amend for a long time, and I really appreciate all the work that you've done. When I was soul searching, trying to decide what I wanted to dedicate my life to, I asked myself what would be most beneficial. And of course, Move to Amend is just a rare opportunity to make real systemic change across the board. So now to the financial part. And our current report financially is that we have been a little understaffed for the past few months, and we have a little catching up to do. We have a lot of things happening at the moment. We're reaching out to lapsed donors, resolving any issues. We are staying on top of our personal thank yous for donation, and we will be making requests to C3 donors to contribute to C4. Also, a few things that I think we need to promote harder. First is donor advised funds. This is a growing trend for nonprofit fundraising. Traditional means of giving are kind of on the decline for everyone, but these funds are just growing rapidly. They're really promoting them. There's around 250 billion in assets right now that we need to tap into. The process to get these donations, though, is not easy. There's a small number of places you can enter your organization's information and hope that they pick you. Personal interaction is the best way to push Move to Amend to the top of the list. So I am asking everyone I know to reach out to your financial advisor, ask them about their DAF program, and then get them acquainted with Move to Amend. We have received we could do better at this. Also, we have legacy giving, which is a gift to made to nonprofits as part of a person's will. A great addition to our fundraising efforts would be short videos featuring donors who have made this part of their estate planning. And I know Alfonso has done this, and he might want to give you some more information about how that works. So I put you on the spot, Alfonso.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah, so I learned about this fairly recently. As some of you might know, my mom recently passed away, and it was because of that I learned about how to do wills and all that sort of stuff. So I myself started thinking about that, and one of the things that I'm very passionate about is about ending corruption and corporations having constitutional rights. I think that's an abomination. So I know, like Greg said, it's not gonna be an easy fight, and probably it's gonna take a long time. So I, as part of my estate planning, I came across this really helpful website that is absolutely free. In fact, the name is Free Will. So it allows you to draft a legally binding document that will you know, when the time comes, make sure that what you want to allocate to whatever cause it is goes to that. I can share the link right now. But yeah, as a matter of fact, when I was doing this research, I found some surprising facts. Like, for example, that only about 30% of Americans have a will. And well, like I said, everyone needs one, whether you're 18 or 80. It's the best way to know if you're like me, like you want to have everything planned out. It's good to have that in order. And if you want to leave your family and the causes that you believe in a good fighting chance, that is a great way to do it, to get everything on ahead of time. So let me share that link with you. It's, for some reason, it's not opening. Okay, it's just my internet, probably. It took a long time. So this is the website, and like I said, it's totally free. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And about 20 minutes, it says the page. But yes, it's fairly easy. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if you have any, either now or via chat or via email. I put my email in the chat a little earlier, so you can shoot me an email in case that you have any questions or anything I can help you with. I'll be more than happy. But yes.
Well, and next on the agenda is our future plans. And as of today, it's to keep doing what is working. And you all have really made an amazing foundation that makes fundraising really enjoyable. I do not mind asking people to support all these hard workers. I'm so impressed every day that I come to work, how hard everyone works, how hard volunteers work, the staff. So thank you guys so much for making it possible. If you have any ideas that you want to share with me, just let me know. So that's my spiel. And I don't have the agenda in front of me. I don't know who's next.
Sorry, I was trying to get off mute. Thank you, Katie. So yes, next in the agenda would be upcoming events, and Shelly is going to be sharing those with us. Yeah.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yeah, so we've got a few really good upcoming events to share, which we've already talked about a bit, but the August Recess Lobby Training, which is on Thursday, that's at 5 Pacific and 8 Eastern. The RSVP link is in the agenda. I also saw it was put in the chat earlier. I hope you can make it, and we also hope that you share it in your networks and with people who might be elsewhere, who might be interested in joining this as well. The EcoNet monthly meeting is August 10th, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, link in the agenda. And then we're really excited to announce that we're going to be doing a book study starting in September, Gaveling Down the Rabble, How Free Trade is Stealing Our Democracy by Jane Ann Morris. And I didn't know, Greg, if you maybe wanted to talk about that a bit, since you knew the author, you're really familiar with the book and you're the facilitator.
Sure. Some of you may know or have heard of Jane Ann Morris, was part of the sort of the think tank called the Program on Corporations, Law and Democracy. And she called herself a corporate anthropologist. An anthropologist, as you may know, is the study of cultures, and sort of looked at the corporate form through the eyes of culture, not just the law or statutes or constitutions. And she, in the course of her life, unfortunately, she passed a number of years ago, produced some amazing works that were both incredibly insightful and oftentimes quite humorous. And one of her best pieces of all is this particular book, which tries to look very fundamentally at the Commerce Clause. And that's basically what this book is about, how the Commerce Clause has been used by men of property and corporate entities, the artificial legal fictions that they created, to supplant and to usurp the ability of communities to pass laws to protect health, safety, and welfare of communities. But it's also been used, the Commerce Clause, unfortunately, by movements for labor rights, and civil rights, sort of easier, if you will, by many of these movement leaders over time to try to gain their rights as people of color, or the right to try to organize, by trying to hook themselves to the bumper of the Commerce Clause, of looking at the right of property to move freely from state to state as the way to guarantee rights for people, be they African Americans and labor, working people. Much easier, in fact, in this corporate culture and property rights culture to do that than to argue and try to win through the courts that people of color should be treated fairly because they're human beings, or that working people should have the right to freely organize. And so it's been corrupted and perverted, even some of these movements, because of the Commerce Clause. And this model, if you will, has been used by countries around the world to create free trade, and these free trade deals and free trade agreements internationally have used sort of the model of the United States Constitution Commerce Clause, which is why, and I'll just end here, Jane Ann Morris is oftentimes referred to the Commerce Clause as sort of the baby NAFTA or the granddaddy NAFTA, pick your generational direction. So this book gets into all of that, the history, how it came to be, how corporate entities have abused the Commerce Clause, and how these movements for rights very easily, much more easily, were able to win their rights through using it, which makes the Commerce Clause that much more insidious and, in fact, difficult to get a handle on. So that's what this book is about. We'll take 2 chapters at a time over 4 sessions during the first Tuesday of the month. But the very first step is you've got to buy this book. And so maybe Shelley can talk about the great deal that Move to Amend has in acquiring this fine book.
Yeah, so this is a book that and thank you, Greg, for that. And I'm really, really excited to get into this with everyone for the fall and winter. Sorry, someone's revving their engine out there. But yeah, so you can go to our store and order this book in advance of this. I don't know if the link, I believe if you go to the event link that's in the agenda, maybe somebody can put that in the chat. And that is a link to the item in the store that you can purchase, and I will ship that to you ASAP. So yeah, hopefully we can get a good group and get into this together. It's been a while since we've done anything like this. So
yeah, and Kevin's right. It is a misnomer, free trade. It's not about trade at all, be it free or fair. It's about who rules, who governs, who decides. So absolutely, positively spot on, Kevin.
All right, and it's in the chat now. Thank you to whoever did that. Yeah, very exciting. And then we have a local event. I know there's more, local, like statewide monthly meetings that are happening, but the one we have here is the Florida one. So next Thursday, it looks like July 27th at 7 p.m. I'm assuming Eastern time, and the info is in the agenda. So that's it. Pass.
Thank you, Shelley. So yeah, also just a friendly reminder, there's the link to submit your monthly affiliate reports. That way we can highlight any upcoming events. And I see, Michael, you have your hand up. Go ahead. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. In terms of what you're saying about the Commerce Clause, well, again, I think the way to make it so that it could be used for the good things was movement used it for, but not for evil corporations due to increase their power would be, again, it's yet another reason why we need that constitutional amendment and why just getting money out of politics is not enough. Why all corporate constitutional rights should be abolished. Another example of that.
Thank you for that, Michael. And I see Lawrence also has your hand up. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to let you know the reason I was late on the call is because I was in a really important meeting with Third Act, and that's a Bill McKibben newish organization that's sort of patterned after 350.org, but for old people, for people in their third act of life. And we had the last meeting 3 months ago with the labor group of Third Act. And I just want to give an example of how Move to Amend can be so fun, is that like Greg said, at the right time is when things happen. And so, of course, nothing will happen without the effort that we keep putting forth. But the person that was speaking was talking about our actions and whatnot. And then he said, well, the one thing that we really need to win is we need power and democracy. And I don't really know how we can get that. So he really opened the door for me. That was really amazing. So the leaders of that meeting didn't know about Move to Amend. So, I envision lots more fun stuff happening in the near future. Pass.
Thank you for that and for everything you do, Greg. You're one of our biggest advocates. Thank you. And yeah, anyone else wants to share any last minute thoughts or any questions? Let me see. I don't see any hands up. Alrighty, so that brings us to the end of tonight's call. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. and for all the great work that you do with your respective affiliate groups. Again, a friendly reminder to submit your monthly affiliate reports. I will share that link, or it's already there, so that you can submit your affiliate reports, and that way we can highlight and raise up all the great work that you all do. And we will be reconvening on this same configuration next month on August the 15th. And the recording of this call will be up later on tonight on the affiliate support page, where you can also find the notes. But okay, hearing no other questions or comments, we will wrap it up, and we will see you again on the 15th. Thank you all so much for joining us and for everything you all do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alfonso.
Thank you all.
Thanks all. Good to be with you.
Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.